hello everyone. So, yeah, it's okay. Yes, so hello, I'm Leo from Sismo, and today I will present zkConnect. We have just released this month, and yesterday we released our zkConnect Unchained Verifier, so I will present all of that today. So at Sismo, we are doing a bridge between personal data and applications. So what does it mean exactly? As a user, you have some data, a lot of different type of data. And as an application, you need this data to do stuff about it. So the user personal data you have can be like your bank account, your very private addresses, Web3 accounts, where you have all your Ethereum, where you have a NFT, whatever. You have also your more public ENS accounts, where you have, for instance, you follow Sismo.lens on Lens, or you have your ENS name. And you have also other public information, like for here, I have my Twitter account. And what you want to do with all of that is just reveal some specific data to applications. For instance, here, a ZK drop application could be, okay, I want to airdrop some NFT to only Sismo Twitter followers. So the problem is currently, as a user, you have all this data, it's all like merged, and you just want to reveal this specific data. Another example could be like you want to gate a mailing list only to some NFT holders. So you want only to know if the user has this NFT to let it go through your gate. So I propose to start with a demo of these two examples, the ZK sub, which is a mailing list, and the ZK drop, which is a ZK airdrop. Yes, so here, the ZK drop, I don't know if you heard about the merger pass. So the merger pass is a soulbound token, which is so non-transferable NFT, received by contributor to the merge. So it was a project led by Team Beko. And the idea is that you could claim this NFT only if you are part of the developers that contributed to the merge. So basically, there is a list of around 100 accounts. So we can see that there is some GitHub accounts, some Twitter accounts, or directly addresses. And this list was created directly by Team Beko that curated this list. So then I want to claim this NFT. So I had a destination account where I want to claim my NFT. And I need to prove that I am eligible to claim this NFT. So I use zkConnect. I'm redirected back to the Vault Sismo, where I have all my different data. For instance, here in my Vault, so it's a demo Vault, so I'm impersonating a Vitalik-like account. So I can see that I have my public ENS, my GitHub account, my Twitter account, and some other private Web3 accounts. And when I am on this Sismo Vault, I have a request from ZK Drop that want to see that I am effectively a merge contributor, and that he will use a user ID generated specifically from this vault to use inside the ZK Drop application. I will talk to this, about this later. So you say, okay, I want to connect. I want to generate my ZK proof. I'm generating my ZK proof on this Sismo data vault. And then I am redirected back to the ZK drop, and I can claim my NFT. So the process is pretty simple. It's like a SSO. And there I am. So now I have another example where we want to have the lists, we want to have the email addresses of all merger contributors. For instance, to send free tickets for HCC or DEF CON or stuff like that. So it's not on-chain, but it's more off-chain verification, where I will directly send this an Eventbrite email to the user. So same process, I do the zkConnect. I'm asked to prove that I am a merge contributor. Okay. And then I can just add my address, and it's submitted. So when you submit your address, you submit it back with the zkConnect proof, and it's verified on the backend part of this ZK sub stuff, and it's sent directly the email to the user. So we do example and demo of gated application thanks to zkConnect. Okay, so how it works? More in detail, sorry. You have your user data vault, which is on a Sismo data vault in the front end directly. So all happens in the browser directly. You have all your accounts. It's like a password manager where you can import all your accounts in it. And you decrypt it directly in your browser, and you generate this proof on the browser directly, and you send it back to the different application. So in my data vault, I can import different accounts. So I can import my Twitter account, my public ENS, and I have all this data that are like added inside the Sismo data vault. When I send back the ZK proof, the application will directly verify the ZK proof through a smart contract, for instance, or on the backend. So the smart contract will be the airdrop, ZK drop, and the backend will be the ZK sub. So the idea of this zkConnect is to have the best single sign-on possible DevX and usability. For instance, what is really game changer here is that as you can import all your different type of accounts into your Sismo data vault, and it's self-sovereign, it's sovereign identity because you are the only one to be able to decrypt it. You can import very, very private information in it, like your very private wallet with all your transactions, your bank accounts, basically, and also more public information. And you have all of this inside the same in the same vault, and you can granularly reveal some specific data inside to application. So, for instance, if we take sign in with Ethereum, you can't do that because with sign in with Ethereum, you just have the account and that you are going to sign in with all the data associated. So the application knows exactly all the data you have, and sometimes you don't want to share this data. So with this zkConnect, you have mainly three features. The authentication part. As an application, you can request from your Sismo data vault if you own a specific account, so a Web3 account or Web2 account. For now, we have GitHub and Twitter accounts. So here, we can see it a little bit like DevX improvement around OpenID Connect. Because in your application, you just have to integrate zkConnect to request an authentication of a GitHub account or Twitter account, and it will be you won't have to implement all the stuff with GitHub or Twitter. It will be just with the Sismo data vault, and your users will only have to import these accounts once into the Sismo data vault. You can also do what we call data claims. So does this user inside this vault have, for instance, a type of NFT, a punk, for instance, or a Bird Ape Club or whatever. And you have aggregation at score because in your Sismo data vault, you could have like, okay, a punk on an address, a Bird Ape Club on another, but it will look up on each different addresses and find the ones that are that have the NFT ownership you requested as your application. And finally, the third one is the message signature. You can ask the user to sign something, like sign a link and information. Are you agree, yes, no, or whatever. So you can do all of this together in only one proof. So the what we call an authentication request, a claim request, and a message signature. So in the future, like in 1 month, we will have aggregation and multiple data in the same proof. For instance, you could ask, okay, I want to have the GitHub account, Twitter account of the user, and I want to have top 10 NFT ownership, for instance. and you will have all this information in the same redirection flow. For now, it's only like one authentication and or one claim and or one message. So for the flow, more technically, we have what we call the zkConnect request. So as an application in the front end, you generate this zkConnect request. Then the user is redirected back to his user data vault. He generates the ZK proof in the browser directly, so it's privacy preserving. And it sends back this proof in a zkConnect response that is verified directly in the app. So the Sismo data vault is playing already, but you import all your different accounts, and automatically it finds all the data you have and add them inside this Sismo data vault. So how it works technically, it's a group membership. So you need the more type of groups you have, the more granular data you have, because the ZK proof is just proving that you are part of some different type of groups. For instance, a group can be the list of all the punk owners. And you also have the possibility to have value, like the balance. You could, imagine you have 3 punk, you could have a group with all the accounts and the exact balance they have. And when you do your request, you can ask, okay, I want to know if you have at least 1 punk. But you can do also, okay, my zkConnect request is, I want to know if you have at least 2 punk. And inside the zero-knowledge circuit, so we are using Circom, we are verifying if we have the well request, so we are between 0 and the maximum. You can also import GitHub accounts. One of the usage is like you can do, okay, I contributed to this repository, I contributed to, I don't know, top DeFi project, Aave, and you will be able to prove that as a claim request. So if we take the different layer here of the Sismo data vault, you have the authentication part. If you don't have any data sources imported, so GitHub, Twitter, or Ethereum address, when you create your Sismo data vault, you have a secret inside, and you can authenticate as an anon with this secret. So it's what we call authentication type anon. When you have imported different data sources, you can also authenticate yourself with these data sources directly. So when you import these different data sources, So this is what we call account ownership. Then, thanks to these different data sources imported into your Sismo data vault, we can find if they are part of some groups. So it's the data gems part or claim data part. Basically, how it works is like in the front end, we download all the Merkle tree. We are doing a lookup inside all these Merkle tree, these groups, to find if you have the addresses inside, and we can know if you are a punk owner, if you are Aave delegator or whatever. And finally, the message signature, you can just sign a message inside your proof. So basically, it's an input which hashes this message. And then when you generate your authentication layer or your data request, you can bring with it some message. So you can say yes or no or whatever. So yeah, here again, so you have your app. You do your zkConnect request to the Sismo data vault, and you have back the proof. You verify it, and here, it's an example of a Web 2 SSO-like experience. Then you can have a request of an Ethereum address. So it's more like a sign-in with Ethereum. Then you can do claims, like, okay, I contributed to Sismo Core, I have an ENS, I follow Sismo Lens. And this is group membership verification. Basically, you do, okay, I want to zkConnect request, so the red data gem, we call it like that, atomic data, is like I have a CryptoPunk, okay? It sends back the proof with the verification of this data request. And finally, message signature. When you do your request, you send your message, I voted yes for this governance, and it's ready, you can verify it thanks to the ZK proof. So now, I want to show you a little bit how it works, the DevX, and how you can integrate this zkConnect directly into your app. So the first step here is to create your application into the factory.sismo.io. So here, for fun, I created a ZK Hack workshop application. And why is this? The purpose here is to authorize some domains to request data from your Sismo data vault. So then, okay, sorry. Then, thanks to this application ID, you will have an application ID that you will use inside your app to request the data from your user. For the DevX part, you will have only a zkConnect button, which is a React button. You also have a TypeScript library to help you if you are not on React. But you will do your config here. So the config contains the app ID. You will generate your claim request and auth request. So you can only do a auth request if you want to authenticate just with the zkConnect, but without claim. You could do both. So here I will say, okay, I'm part of this group ID, and I have an authentication type of add-on, thanks to the Sismo data vault. And then with the zkConnect response, you can verify it directly into your smart contract. For instance, here we have the zkConnect response in bytes that you can verify. And at the end, you can create your token ID for a 721 contract using the verified auth.user ID, which is the add-on user ID you have, thanks to this vault. I'm going to show you more directly here. So let's start by the front end. So what is interesting here is the zkConnect button. You have the config, the request, the authentication request, message signature request if you want. So yeah, here it's the repo. So all these repositories are open source. I sent the link at the end of the presentation. So here I will show you on local. When I click on the zkConnect request, I'm requesting the ZK sub 1. So it's the app ID ZK sub here. But I show you that I have created the ZK Hack 1. So just updating like that. I'm going back here. When I do my zkConnect request, I can see that I have the ZK Hack and ZK Hack workshop connection request. So it was in the factory here. I have the app ID here. And that's it. Same for the group ID. When you do your claim request, so for the demo I show you, we ask that you are a merge contributor. But now the same, we can, thanks to the factory, we have the possibility to create data groups. So basically, when you create data group, you will define how you are going to create this different type of data. You can do it directly through the factory with UI. So you can, for instance, create the list here by hand. But it's not very interesting because it will be totally static. And you can create the group through data providers. So you have a whole list of data providers here that was created by the community. So everyone can contribute to this repository to add different type of data providers. I don't know, for instance, we have the GitHub one, where you could find the list of all the contributors or the stargazers of a repository. So for instance, here you will need to do yes, so we can add different type of data group. You can merge the existing one. So let's say I want the merge contributor also. Okay, I can create a new groups that will combine these groups. I can also choose a frequency, let's say daily, and my group will automatically be So the way to build this group will automatically run each day, and the root, so it will be a Merkle tree at the end, and the root will be sent on-chain. So it's like a Merkle tree as a service infrastructure. When you do this factory UI no code, it automatically generates a pull request on the Sismo Hub repository, so everyone can go here and contribute. So change, update, create new data providers and stuff like that. And so you have the group generators, and you can find here the different type of groups. For instance, we have, I don't know, we have a proof of humanity. Humanity, POH, maybe. I don't see it. Yeah, sorry, this one. And you can see here how we are building the groups. So it's a weekly updated group. And the generate function in TypeScript will be executed at a weekly frequency. It will request a subgraph, get all the data. So we can see the query here. Bug this data in the POH data group. You have the description and specification here. It's all the data that you can see directly here in the factory. So when you are exploring the different data groups there, we were with proof of humanity. Proof of humanity here. So you can search for your group ID. You can see the number of eligible users inside. So you can see here there is around 16,000 users. You can see the last generation, the next generation. So basically it's the explorer of the groups. And you can go to the code where we were here directly with the factory. Okay, yeah, sorry. Can you update parameters for the groups once you submit it, or is it one and done? So when it's done, you can create a pull request to update it later. So for instance, if we take, let's say, we are going to take the merge contributor. Oh yeah, sorry. So here, the list was made by Tim Bako, and he updated it multiple times to add new addresses inside when it makes sense. So we can see, there is some pull request, and we can see, add new eligible accounts or stuff like that. So it's updatable. So yeah. So I did a workshop at ZK Hack 6 months ago, and we created on the go a group. So people were sending their addresses in a chat. It was fun, and so we created the group. So I will, as we are modifying it, I will just show you this group. So let's go back to the factory, search for the ZK Hack workshop. It was there in December, and you can see the group generator here. It's a static list also because it was sent by in the chat. And you can see the eligible user there. So you have Ethereum account, GitHub account, so it can be hybrid groups. Okay, so let's change it by ZK Hack Sismo workshop. Let's go back to my application. So I am in localhost. Do the zkConnect. So connect to ZK Hack workshop, and the requested data is now ZK Hack 3 Sismo workshop. So you can see it's exactly the one I've shown you there. So it's very, very easy to change the request you want to do from the vault and to get back this information. Okay, so then we can verify it directly into the smart contract. So I will show you also. So this is a ZK drop 721. It was used for the merge contributor example I show you. So basically, you have a library there. you import this library, and your contract extends zkConnect stuff, and then you will have like helpers inside your smart contract. In your constructor, you set the app ID, so it's exactly like the app ID that I showed you before. It needs to be the same as in your front end. You have also your group ID. And when you want to claim an NFT using zkConnect, you need to bring this zkConnect response, so the ZK proof basically, with the address where you want to mint it, okay? You will just verify the result. So here you will verify this zkConnect response. You will add the authentication request and claim request you wanted, so the group ID. And here we are of odd type anon because we want to. So odd type anon is like basically I'm connecting with my Sismo data vault. So I will have a user ID, which is a unique user identifier computed inside the zero knowledge proof that hash my secret with the app ID. So I will have a user ID which is only specific of my Sismo data vault to this application. If there is different contracts that use different app ID, and they are forced to thanks to the authorized domain, each user ID will be different. So on-chain, it will be totally anonymous, and there is no link between my data vault. It's the same on Web 2. Imagine that the Web 2 application use zkConnect. They are hacked. I don't know why, but the user ID of the vault will be different for each application. So it's totally safe. You are totally isolated. For the claim request, so we need to put the group ID we already want, because a ZK proof in itself does not mean anything. You can have ZK proof for a different type of group, so you need to verify that this zkConnect response corresponds to what you requested first. That's why you need to put, again, the group ID you originally wanted. And finally, you will add also a message signature with an encode of the destination address. So why are we doing this? It's to avoid front running, because the ZK proof could be front run. But if inside the ZK proof you have also this message signature of the account you put as a destination account, as a to account, it can't be front run. So and there you go. You have your token ID. You can define it as the user ID of the verified authentication as anon, and mint it to the to address here. So what is interesting now is like you can block the transfer function. So here it's reverted, and you can allow a transfer only with a new zkConnect proof. So for instance, you want to move it. It's like a soulbound token. You can't transfer it, but you can move it. So it's like bound to the Sismo data vault. You can move it to another destination if you lose the first destination, for instance. So you do OK, transfer with zkConnect, same interface here. We verify again the ZK proof, the zkConnect response. We get back the token ID, which will be exactly the same because you authenticate with your Sismo data vault, and you can directly do the transfer from to. So it's very, very easy to implement. So you have the repository here. We also have some tutorials. So you can go to our docs. So you have all the zkConnect tutorial here. Get your contract with zkConnect is explained there. You have all what we talked about. So you need to create your application first, and the button in the front end part, and then your more contract part. So now we can also do this in a more Web 2 application with a backend. So it's our mailing list ZK sub application I demoed before. And so let me show you. So it's a Node.js example. I have an API with a /subscribe endpoint. And I will verify here the zkConnect response. So it's exactly like in smart contract, but it's in TypeScript. And the verifier, the zero knowledge verifier, is just in TypeScript, and you import it exactly like with some NPM packages. So it's really very, very similar to the smart contract one. So again, you put your hot request, your claim request, and you can get back your user ID like that. So then we can save in the database, okay, the user ID has an email, and say like if you already subscribed, you can't subscribe anymore because then it's CB resistant stuff. The same, you have the repository here. You can go to the documentation and request data privately with zkConnect. And the tutorial explains how to do the button. And the verification part is here, zkConnect.verify in TypeScript. Okay, so what we are trying to do at Sismo is to build all what we are doing in a modular way. So the idea, I present you the zkConnect stuff, it's like very layerized from the proving scheme. So I said we are using Circum now, but in the idea you could add a lot of different type of proving scheme in the future. I don't know, a Noir zero knowledge verifier prover, or other ideas. And the zkConnect layer is like layerized from this proving scheme. It's not directly tied. So basically, you have on this layer the authentication request, the claim request, and the message signature. We have our doc here, our build.sismo.io. Just okay. So yeah, we put our bounties for the ZK Hack Lisbon, and a lot of resources that are like an overview, and a lot of different ideas of application you can do using zkConnect. So yeah, I let you go there and you can ask us questions. We also have our builders.sismo.io Telegram group where you can join and ask questions. And yeah, do not hesitate to go to our GitHub repository so all of what we are doing is open source. You can see our proving scheme circuits. You can see our contract, the zkConnect on-chain verifier, how it works. So we are using Foundry. So yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So maybe you, yeah. And just, yeah, we are hiring, so you can go to jobs.sismo.io and see what we are proposing. I don't know if you have questions, maybe? Yeah.
I don't know if my understanding is correct, but it looks like if I have a data vault, like generate zero knowledge membership to
sorry, it's like...
my question is, I don't know if my understanding is correct, but it looks like if I have a data vault and I want to prove this the data belonging to this data vault, it's like a very typical zero knowledge membership proof. I don't know your technique behind this, if this is the membership or you use other way to realize that.
Okay, so what I understood of your question is what is exactly the proof membership we are doing inside this Sismo Data Vault. So I will get back just this slide. So in this slide, you can see more precisely all these features of the Sismo Data Vault. So basically, the Sismo Data Vault is just like a password manager. It's an encrypted stash of secrets that you decrypt only on your browser, on your client side. And then you download all the different groups that exist in Sismo. And we look up inside the front-end part each account where if they are part of some groups. And if they are part of some groups, you can prove it with zero-knowledge proof. So it's basically doing a Merkle tree inclusion proof verification inside the circuit. And then with this ZK proof, we will compare it to a root of this Merkle tree which is on-chain and verify if it's coherent with the group ID you are looking for. So this is only when you want to prove that you have some data or you are part of a group. So a claim data request for now is only I'm claiming that I am part of a group. But if we generalize it, being part of a group is like, so when you are in a privacy stuff and when you want to show information about yourself, it's always like group-centric. I don't know, I have 29, so there is a group of all people that are 29. And I have some Ethereum, there is a group of all people that have some Ethereum, and exactly. So it's very like claim group-centric. And you have an anonymity set of this claim. If you have only 5 people in this type of groups, that means that you are part of this only 5 people, so you need to be careful. If the group is like 1 million users, it's like we can't guess anything about you.
In the example of like claiming your punk owner, and then there's only 10,000 punks that exist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so you tie it with another, like as your data group grows, is it like getting like there's 10,000 and there's only, you can only be like, you're narrowing down your anonymity set.
Yeah, true. So when you do your request to the vault, I will come back here. So for now, it's very succinct, but in the future, we will say, for instance, if you claim like you are part of this group and this group and this group, and your anonymity set is like two people at the end, you will have a warning there that say, okay, so your anonymity set is too low and stuff like that. So for now, you can request only one authentication and one claim. But in the future, you will be able to do operation between. So you could say, okay, I want that the user is part of the Gitcoin Passport group and or Proof of Humanity or WorldCoin, and as a punk or a Bored Ape Yacht Club or whatever. And we can do all of this inside the same proof.
Is there a maximum amount of addresses that can be in a group?
So there is, in theory, there is one. So our Merkle tree have a maximum of 1 million accounts, 1 million leaf. It's 20 level of the Merkle tree. But so how it works now is like you have the group Merkle tree, and we have what we call the registry tree. It's another tree with all the root of the different trees. And you can split it in multiple trees. So for now, the most important groups we have created is like 8 million users. And then it's just infra cost. So like we need to parallelize the building of the tree. We are using Hash Poseidon, which is not as fast as Sketchhack. And yeah, it's infra cost to rebuild all the tree each time. But yeah, we can go like 8 million, 10 million. It's pretty nice already.
Following the previous question, who will have the right to update the root of the tree on chain?
Yeah, so for now, this is trusted. It's all happen here on the Sismo hub. The idea is that it's publicly verifiable. All the data are publicly verifiable. The API is open. You can see when the, I don't know, when the generation group happens, what happened exactly, when the root is updated, why, and but yeah, it's publicly verifiable but trusted. In the future, we can do like ZK proof of generation of the Merkle tree. For instance, I don't know if you know Herodotus team or Axiom, but basically you can do in one proof with recursion and stuff like that, but in one ZK proof, you can verify the list of all the CryptoPunk owners, generate the Merkle tree inside the same proof, So a Sismo specific Merkle tree, like a Poseidon hash Merkle tree, and having the new root that is, so you would have the old root, the new root, and push this on chain, and we'll be sure that the ZK proof is working because like it was generated inside a huge ZK proof. So yeah, it can be like decentralized like that in the future.
So how responsive is the update of Merkle proof regarding dynamic proofs? Let's say you're proving the possession of a specific ERC20 token.
Yep.
As you know, that is moving constantly. So if I do a transfer, how quick can I check if it's the address that the funds are transferred to is already included?
Yeah, so very good question. For now, the group generator can run at at the maximum frequency of a daily update. For each groups, you have a timestamp. I will show you there. So it was, I think, there. No, sorry. For instance, in your claim request, you can say, okay, I want only the latest group generated, or I want a specific timestamp here. Okay, I don't have but yeah, the idea is that in your application, you will say, okay, for instance, I will generate a group of people that have a CryptoPunk during more like 1 month, and I will ask it to refresh it like every 1 month. So you can say, okay, I accept this trade-off. But yeah, the group is generated every daily update for now. And it's up to you as an application to do if it's okay for you or not, or if you want to refresh the zkConnect proof.
You want it quicker?
In the future, we will update it quicker, yeah, but not for now. Yeah, for now it's a Sismo from using the Sismo hub here. It's open source, you can contribute it. We already have contributors that contributed to it. You can also, oh yeah, we have issue there where you can, for instance, you can create new type of data providers. And these data providers will appear automatically once it's merged inside the factory to be able to generate these groups in no-code UI. So for instance, all these data providers was created by the community, and it was just coded in the Sismo hub, and it's available thereafter. But who run it, it's like, for now, it's trusted, it's us. I don't hear you a lot. Can you? Yeah. I don't think it's right.
Okay, I'll try to speak louder. So the timestamp groups are effectively different groups.
Yeah.
So, but you might kind of like really demonstrate your membership of the same group, which is actually a different group over time, and then you would be reducing your anonymity set.
Yeah.
So is it? I mean, as I understood it, the idea is that all of the groups are going to be public.
Yeah. You have a group generator. Each time it generates a new groups, and you have a latest group, the latest generated ones, but you can still prove membership of old groups if you want to. It's just that the timestamp will correspond to the old ones.
But if I repeatedly go to some site and I prove that I owned CryptoPunk at that time,
yeah.
And I go to that site in April, I go to that site in May, and I go to that site in July, and maybe I'm not in it in July, or maybe I'm not in it in March.
Yeah, but with your claim request, we will say that you add a CryptoPunk in July, because the group contains the timestamp with it.
Yeah, but then that's me claiming membership of 3 kind of different related but different groups.
Yeah.
CryptoPunk in April, CryptoPunk in March, CryptoPunk in July. So then I'm reducing my anonymity set because the group membership is public. So the question is there any, I don't know, is there any kind of like grey areas or any compromise that can be made so that groups are not fully public, so you can't just correlate membership with groups over time?
Yeah, so for us, like, the anonymity set if we take, for instance, Tornado Cache. Tornado Cache, the anonymity set, they say like if you wait 24 hours, it's safe. And 24 hours, you have like 20, 30 transactions only. So when you have 30 transactions, if you have an anonymity set of 30 or 50, with the whole anonymity set of all the others that deposited inside, you are really like safe. It's very difficult to try to find all this correlation because when you say, so you are assuming with your question that you have your CryptoPunk in the same account, but maybe you move it to another one, and we don't know from which account it came. We don't even know if it's from the same account or not. So it's like a combinatory, it's combinatory possibilities, so it's very complicated to... But so for now we don't do analytics around that, but the idea is that with your Sismo Data Vault, each time you share an information, we will save it inside that you have shared this information. A little bit like Connect with Google, where we see all the applications you connected with and the data you shared. So in the future, we will be able to say, okay, I shared this claim at this time to this application, I sent this one on chain, and what I am doing, so I am decreasing a lot my anonymity set, yes or no, and stuff like that. But it will be like in the future.
Okay, I think it's the end of the questions because we have another presentation in 10 minutes. So thank you, Leo, very much.
Yeah.